freedom, Leviticus 20. Leviticus 20 talks about some punishments that are given from the Lord to Moses concerning certain things, like um, you do not worship Molech. Molech was a idol god, and people would worship their children. And when I say worship, they would give them as sacrifices to Molech. And God is saying, don't do that. The Lord says, if you do it and you sacrifice your children to Molech, you will be killed, and those who know about it would be killed. Now, wouldn't that be wonderful if we could stop crime by saying not only are the criminals will be dealt with harshly, but those you who knew about it will be dealt with harshly too. That kind of stuff makes everybody own up and stand up for what's right. No spirits, no wizards. If you do that, you're going to be cut off. You can't curse your parents. You curse your parents, mistreat your parents, you died. Wouldn't that, again, how many children sorry, how many children would that take for that to get in the spirit of it? I think only one child would probably have to be killed, be put to death because they was being disrespectful to their parents, and I think all the other kids would get it. And sexual sins, it was death for adultery, death for incest, death for having sex with your in-laws, death for same sex, death you take your wife and your mother, bestiality, which is having sex with animals, death would be the thing. I said same sex, but I wanted to make sure I said same sex, like I said, adultery, incest, and other things, because we want to harness in on same sex, but and back in the Bible, there's a lot of other things happening that God gave death to also. And we got to understand that you can't pick and choose who you think should be dealt with harshly with God when you got things in your closet. We all got stuff in our closet that we need to deal with. Um, it talks about not having sex when a woman's on her monthly cycle. You'll be cut off from your people from doing that. Um, you can't see your siblings' nakedness. You can't see your uncle or your aunt's nakedness. These are things that the God gave us so that we could live a life that was respectable. So you wasn't out there doing anything and saying it's okay. I know we live in a world now that everything's not black and white. Everything is gray. Everything is like whatever you want to do, you can do whatever you want. And you can do whatever you want because God has given us that grace and that mercy period to do what we want. But he's looking for us to live the way he wants us to live. That's what he's looking for. He's looking for us to live the way that he wants us to live. But we're living the way we want to live. And that's not what God created us for. God created us and gave us everything that we need to do so that we can live a successful life in him. But we're not doing that. And then because there's no death coming down, adultery, people not being put to death for adultery, or, God's not striking people down for these things. But, it makes me think about how my dad, we would go places as a family, me, my mom, my dad, my brother, and I would do stuff I shouldn't do, whatever it was. And my dad would come up to me very quietly and say, when we get home, I'm going to deal with you for this. During that whole time we'd be on the outing, I'd be trying to be my best person because I already know I'm going to be dealt with. Again, the Bible is going to deal with us in its day. And right now it's grace and mercy. And I would try to be the best person I needed to be so that when I got home, my daddy would have mercy on me and would not give me a whooping or put me on punishment, if not both. And we be going home in the car, I'd be quiet, and I wouldn't be saying nothing because I'd just be saying, oh, I hope he just forgot. But as soon as we crack that door open, as soon as the sky cracks open, as soon as my daddy, we would crack the door open, he would go, I didn't forget. He going back there in that room. And I just start crying because I know I'm in trouble and I already know I did something and I know I'm guilty. You hear what I'm saying? I know I'm guilty. So that's why I was acting right all along. And sometimes my dad would give me a break and he would be like, just talk to me about the situation and say, okay, sometimes I got in trouble. Sometimes I got a whooping. Sometimes I got on punishment for my behavior. And that's what God is doing. God is giving us this time period to get it right. So that when we do go before him in our day, that when he starts weighing what we've done in our life, we maybe have a little slither or something that went above what evil or no things we shouldn't have not done or said. And that's what this is about. This is what this is all about, is making it to heaven. It's trying to live a life. And he said, what's bound in heaven is bound in heaven. What's bound on earth is bound on earth. So we are to live like we're godly people, even if we are not in heaven yet. We're supposed to act as representatives of God. And this is what God is saying. I don't want you doing everything that everybody else does. Can you do it? Of course you can do it. It's a lot of things you can do here on this earth that has, it's not going to bring an eyebrow up against the law of this earth, but we have a higher standard. So remember that. Remember, we have a higher standard that's being asked of us. We are, and we need to try to live it the best we can. And don't worry about what other people are doing. Just worry about what you're doing. Don't worry about it. You can recognize what other people are saying. So, do you recognize your own sins and try to live a better life? Because that's what you're going to be held accountable for is how you live, not how you think other people lived or didn't live. Okay? Well, that's my time. Stay free.